Hey, Marty here with you for Golf Strategy School, and I just wanted to give a fun little update here. So, the last podcast episode I had done was kind of my review of St. Andrews, which was incredibly amazing. The amount of history that is around that course is absolutely nuts. We just got home from our Scotland trip, and I've got to tame this hayfield of a backyard. I got about half of it mowed yesterday. I got to finish it up today. But I wanted to tell you about another experience I had at a different course called Royal Dornoch. Now, a lot of people may not have heard of this course because it's not as famous as St. Andrews. St. Andrews, obviously the old course, being the home of golf, hosting the Open Championship. The history there is kind of unbeatable. The thing about St. Andrews is there's so much golf there in such a small location. St. Andrews is there goes Moose. She's got her bike. The the history at St. Andrews and the amount of golf they have in such a small location is the crazy part. So they've got 5 golf courses that are really very, very, very close. I mean, they're practically on top of each other. There's lots of holes that don't even have a rough area in between them. It's a shared fairway. On the old course specifically, there are 7 shared greens, which is kind of crazy. And obviously, if you're saving space like that, you're going to have the opportunity to put a lot more golf in a lot smaller location. So, what's interesting about Royal Dornoch is that it is the 3rd oldest course in the world. It is, I think this year it was ranked as the 8th most difficult course in the world. And the size difference between St. Andrews, which I toured, and Dornoch, which I actually got to play, was incredible. So you play the first 2 holes at Dornoch, and they're fairly unassuming, but you turn the corner onto the 3rd hole, and I hired a caddy. And our caddy, as we're rounding the corner to the 3rd hole, just turned to us and he said, "Gentlemen, welcome to Dornoch." And we turned this corner, and it was like we were walking into Jurassic Park. The whole entire course opened up, and it was all along the water. It's right on what they call the Dornoch Firth, and a firth is very similar to like a bay that we have here in the States. So it's an inlet from a large body of water, in this case, the ocean. So my father-in-law and I went to play Dornoch, and we turned this corner, and we're just like jaws to the ground, just wow. The course was incredibly difficult, as advertised. The cool thing is just how I thought it was really neat how they had the layout. So you go out on the front 9, and I was asking our caddy if the wind we were experiencing, which was a steady like 30 to 40 miles an hour, if that was typical for the course. And he said, "Yep, it's typically this direction on your way out, and then it's in your face on the way out, and then you turn the corner and it's at your back on the way in." And when we're headed out, you play those first 2 holes, and you're like, okay, I can feel the wind. We're definitely going to be battling this. The thing is, when you turn that corner and you see the whole course open up in front of you, you start to realize very quickly that you've been guarded by a fairly sizable ridge from the wind. And so the wind immediately picked up. The greens are surprisingly slow, just like St. Andrews. And it has to do with, if you listen to the podcast that I did about St. Andrews, it has to do with the grass types. So it's a bent grass and a fescue. So they usually roll around 8 or 9 on the stimp meter, which is not terribly fast. So that wasn't the tough part. It was all the undulations. And the other thing is that with those grass types, you're having a much more difficult time reading those greens. So you might not be able to see those subtleties of break in a putt, which is where it really helps to have a caddy, as well as telling you like what your sight line is, aiming at certain rooftops or different trees as you're playing the course. So it was really, really cool experience Got some amazing views. They don't have a Swilcan Bridge like St. Andrews does, but from their 7th hole, you can kind of see down and all over the course. So we took some cool pictures from the 7th hole. And the other neat thing was we were playing, our tee time was, I want to say like 6 or so at night, because it's so far north. Sunset was 11:16 p.m., I want to say. So we were finishing our round of golf just a little before 11 o'clock, and the sun was just barely starting to set. We could see the really pretty color change starting to set into the sky, and with the ocean on the side. It was an amazing view, and from the 18th tee, you had a very similar view as the 3rd tee when you first turn and you see the whole course layout in front of you. So the size difference of Dornoch was huge compared to St. Andrews. Lots of space between the holes. St. Andrews, you have a green, and then the tee box is like 3-4 feet off the green. You're really stacked up. At Dornoch, it's more of like a traditional course that you'd see here in the States, where you're walking quite a ways in between, well, not quite a ways, a standard distance between green and tee. Lots of fun elevation changes. There was one hole where you carry the ball like 180 yards, and then you're going down like a 50-foot ridge. So that was cool. Overall, though, just an absolutely amazing experience, and a lot cheaper than St. Andrews as well. So it was only about 180 pounds, which is right around $200 and some for 18 holes at Dornoch. So an awesome experience. What did you do when me and Peepaw went and played golf? What did you guys do in Scotland?
We went shopping.
So it was more expensive than I thought.
And we also got ice cream with lots of yummy toppings.
Awesome.
Like gummy bears and gummy worms.
Very cool. Well, Dornoch is an awesome experience. It's about an hour and a half north of Inverness. And if you at all ever have the opportunity to play there, I would highly encourage it. I would also highly encourage that you take a caddy if it's your first time, if nothing else, just to help you with like the target lines and stuff like that. So until next time, Golf Strategy School, I will catch you in the short grass, because I got to take this one off to her very first day of golf lessons. All right, everybody, take care.